What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Blind Power. Today I'm going to give you my top iOS 14 feature requests that I want, things that I want to happen in iOS 14 from a consumer and developer perspective. Keep in mind, I am an iOS developer as well as an iOS consumer and Apple platform developer, Apple platform consumer. You get the point. So basically what I want to go ahead and mention here is that these things are a little in depth, a lot of them, and some of them are on the surface. So the first thing I want to talk about is Siri. Since the iPhone 4S, the last iPhone designed by Steve Jobs, Apple bought an app that was the app that made Siri happen. I forget the original name, but when Apple bought that, they made it better. They put it on the iPhone SE, and it was great. They made major redesigns, like in iOS 7, they redesigned the interface. They added some minor features. In iOS 11, they added Siri Shortcuts and some minor redesign. Then, iOS 12, Siri Shortcuts was engraved into the operating system, allowing for more deeper shortcuts such as JavaScript functions, otherwise known as custom Siri functionality. Now, this is the problem. Consumers don't know JavaScript. Consumers don't know basic Apple script or any programming language that they could do to make Siri better. There is basic ways to do Siri extensions and make Siri do stuff, but it's very basic. Without coding, you can't add your functionality to Siri to the level that you could if you could code. So, for example, I have Siri functionality to get my subscriber count using the YouTube API, which is YouTube's way of making YouTube accessible to other developers. Guess what? I had to code for that, and I have Siri so that I can shut down my server and restart it. Guess what? That's all custom stuff. And Apple, guess what? They have that. They have all this robust functionality. But the consumer doesn't care. The consumer, even if they care, they'll have to learn whole new language, programming language, to do so. So therefore, Apple needs to build more out-of-the-box functionality to Siri. Siri, when you get it, it's basically a clean slate. You have basic stuff like weather, sports, some news, podcast requests, music, play, pause. You have a lot of stuff. You have smart home control. That was integrated in iOS 11 with HomeKit. Guess what? That's all nice and dandy, but consumers want more, including myself. As a developer, I add functionality, but I want more. I want to see creativity from Apple, see what else they can add to Siri. Matter of fact, Google Assistant has object detection, and you can actually point stuff to an object and it can tell you what it is. Point it to a flower. It'll tell you what the flower is. Make Siri not just an audio thing. Make it a visual thing too. Make it so that you can point a camera and Siri can tell you information about what that object is. They have the AI to do it. The camera, what is actually the I forget the name of the framework, but Apple has the framework for developers. With the camera framework, you can get a lot of information from an image. And that's just using their stock framework availability. Face detection. You can do all sorts of cool stuff. Why not use Siri, leverage what you already have, and make really cool, like, point and detect objects or point and read stuff. It's cool because for, sighted, if you're curious about something, you're curious if you can find your item online on other websites. And for the visually impaired and blind, you want this to be read on your phone. Turn on your screen reader, point the OCR using, in this case, the Future Siri app, and guess what? Or Future Siri, and you can read what's on the wall across the room because OCR, AI, Siri. Apple has the potential of this and more. Siri is a big one. The next thing is, please, Apple, input delay for Zoom. So when you're playing games, there's input delay, right? Because you have Zoom on, and Zoom is expecting that triple tap, and there's something about it. In iOS and Android, both are terrible at input delay for Zoom. And Google admits it. I listened to developer podcast, and it's been admitted by the guy who actually is in that department. He even said it, that there's a delay in the touch input. I listened to it in the podcast. There was a podcast I listened to, and the guy said it straight there. I haven't heard Apple say this yet, but I notice. I could tell that there is issues when you're playing games and you have Zoom enabled. With some apps are smart enough to tell you, hey, disable Zoom for a better experience. Why should that happen? Why should that be a case? Why can't Game Center API or whatever the apps use for gaming, in Unity's case, the Game Center API, but other game engines, why not detect Zoom enabled and say, hey, do you want to disable Zoom and re-enable it when you exit the game? Or Apple could use AI to detect, is this a game? Disable Zoom, show a little alert, and then when you exit the app, re-enable it. How difficult is that? I bet I can code that myself. It's just, those are the things there's little petty gripes, that the things that could happen, but things that should happen. Things that would make the experience even better. And Apple's all about fluid experience. Now, the last thing that I want to see, and probably something very important to me, is please make it so that with VoiceOver, when you're navigating a page that's not accessible, have something so that you can send a report to the website, or send something saying, hey, your website is not accessible. Have Safari functionality when VoiceOver is on, that you can basically send feedback to the website. That would be nice. And another bonus VoiceOver thing that I want to talk about is when you're entering an empty area that's not accessible, leverage OCR and image detection to read what is not accessible. SwiftUI does this for SwiftUI enabled apps. That SwiftUI is the new framework where apps are based on. Just think about it like a new way of making Apple apps. And it's very accessible, and the whole target is that everything has to be accessible for any disability, any condition out of the box. The developer has to do barely any work to get this implemented. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment, rate, subscribe. Stay tuned for the watchOS 7 wish list. That'll be coming soon. Thanks for watching, and thank you. We're at 700 subscribers. At 1,000 subscribers, we'll do something special. Hit the subscribe button, and remember to enable the notification bell to get all notifications of Blind Power uploads. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.